The federal government shutdown nearly a week old, and a potential default of the Treasury now looms in just 10 days. So let's talk to Jesse Ventura, former professional wrestler, former governor of the state of Minnesota. He has got a book out about the Kennedy assassination. It's called They Killed Our President. He has also been talking about running for president himself. Now, of course, Governor, when you ran for governor, you talked about politics as usual and changing politics as usual. Right now, you're talking about abolishing parties. You have ideas about the future. Before we get to the future, though, I want to talk about the now, because obviously in Washington, they need help getting out of this crisis. What would you advise them to do immediately, today, tomorrow, to solve this?
What would I advise?
Sure.
Pass the bills.
Pass the bills.
Pass the bills and put the government back working and get us cover our debt so that we're not in major trouble on all this stuff. Clearly, it shows these parties care more about themselves and their contributors than they do the American people.
You say these parties, though, but there are critics.
Gangs, I should call them, because they use the term party. In actuality, they're gangs.
Democrats say if there were a vote on the continuing resolution to fund the government, it would pass right now. Do you think they are right?
I don't know, because I don't sit in Congress, and I don't know how many votes are out there.
But you think there should be a vote right now?
Yeah, absolutely there should be.
And on the debt ceiling?
Absolutely there should be. They should be doing their jobs.
And do you care about the Obamacare angle? Do you think it's right and proper that it be included in the discussion?
Yeah, I believe bills should stand on their own, that they should have no amendments to them, no caveats to them. Let each bill stand on its own, vote them up or down. But these are all ploys by the two gangs to run our government in a horrible fashion.
You call them gangs. Is any one gang, in your view, at this moment more at fault for the situation we're in?
Well, I lump them both together because it really doesn't matter who you elect. They've created a system based upon bribery, the concept of bribery. If you do that in the private sector, you go to jail for bribery. But there, it's alive and well. Well, the bribers, they've bribed both sides. So it doesn't matter who you get. You're going to get the same government because they're all owned by special interest in the corporations.
What evidence do you have, that we're talking about the House of Representatives in particular right here, that many of these districts across the country, perhaps even most of these districts across the country, are getting exactly what they want in their representation?
Well, maybe they are. How can you prove they are?
I don't know, but they elect these people time and time again. They all live in safe seats. They are every 2 years they face election, and they seem to win again and again and again.
Yeah, well, we could solve that too. Why do they put gang names on a ballot? Why not just put the candidate's name? It's done on purpose, so that if you're conservative, you don't need to know the candidate. You can go in and look for Republican. If you're liberal, you look for Democrat. Let's remove gang names. Let's make them political action committees. They can still endorse. But for me, it's we'll never get our country back until we get rid of. And I've got good allies. You know who my allies are in this thinking? George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and John Adams. They all warned us about the gangs. They said if the gangs take over government, that'll be the destruction of the United States. And the gangs have taken it over.
And you want to abolish parties altogether?
Yes. Make them political action committees. Abolish them altogether.
What's the voter's responsibility here? Doesn't the voter have to do something in this equation?
Sure, but the voter's responsibility then would be to educate themselves to what John Smith stands for.
Are they doing that right now, voters?
No, they either vote conservative or Republican because they've been trained that way by the two gangs in the system that we have of bribery.
So there is.
And by the way, I'm the only elected official in 50 years, I bet, who made more money doing the job than what I raised to get it. And I never, in 4 years as government, I never once even spoke to a lobbyist. They weren't allowed in my office.
You're out of government right now. You're thinking about getting back in? People wondering and asking you directly, will you run for president?
Oh, they're asking me all the time, and I'll tell you, it's lining up perfect for me, because I'll tell you right now what I'll win with. I will give the American people, if I run, the opportunity to vote for the first president since George Washington, the father of our country, who does not belong to a political gang.
Well, I mean, you talk about Adams, Jefferson. There were parties and sides that developed very quickly.
Washington's the only one.
So he's the only one.
We could make history and elect the second president, if I run, who does not belong to a political gang.
And there's talk about Howard Stern as a running mate.
Well, there's a method to my madness. I despise the dirty money. Plus, when I ran for governor, I was doing a statewide talk radio show. I had to lose my job because of FCC regulations. And so with Howard's show, I can stay on right until the election. He's Sirius Radio. FCC don't govern them. Plus, we could appeal to Howard's listeners to merely send us all $20. And that way I can continue staying clean because I don't accept PAC money and I don't accept special interest money, and $50 ain't going to get you much of an audience.
Has he told you he's willing to do it?
He's thinking about it.
Thinking about it. And
yeah, but I'll tell you, if he would support me and allow me to use his show, I would also, if he doesn't want to do it, I would consider Senator Angus King from Maine, the former independent governor. He and I were the only two independent governors, so it very well could be a Ventura King.
Have you talked to Angus King about this?
I have not.
So this is news to him right now if he's
listening.
listening.
Well, he knows that I'd pick him because he's the only guy I would trust.
Now, you criticize politicians for playing games a lot. Are you playing games with us right now? Are you serious? What are the odds you run for president?
I don't know. 50-50.
50-50?
Yeah.
That's pretty high.
Yeah, 50 I might, 50 I won't.
When do you want to make that decision by?
We have to make it pretty soon because the difficult thing is this. I would have to get ballot access in all 50 states. The two gangs already have it in all 50 states. See, they make the rules. That's what makes it difficult. It's like playing a football game, and then at halftime they'll change the rules on you. So I would have to get ballot access in all 50 states, and I must be allowed in the debates. But they control that, too. The Democrats and Republicans control who can debate. And it's simple. If I can debate them, I can beat them.
A yes-no decision by the end of this year?
I don't know.
All right, thank you.
You're not going to pin me down on something like that. I live in Mexico right now, and I have a new job. I'll be working for the richest man in the world, Carlos Slim, because I can't get a job here in the media, but he's giving me one in Mexico. So I will be broadcasting to the United States off the grid, much like we broadcasted Radio Free Europe, where you got to be outside the country to get the truth to the country. We're much like East Berlin today. I cross that border driving every year. The only thing missing are the tanks at the border, and I'm sure they're on their way.
When you do make that decision, Governor, I hope you do come back and tell us. We appreciate you being here today.
I'll be happy to do it.
Governor Ventura, thank you so much for joining us. Up next.